Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal, and I'm joined by Cali Chuter of Weapons, which is opening tomorrow. I think you could see it today, but it's good to have you here.
There's a lot of theaters showing it today.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with you, but I always think they should just say the opening Thursday because everything really just
I
does
know.
open Thursday.
I don't know when that started happening. It used to be like a sneak preview would be
Exactly.
available on Thursday for select theaters. If you could get in. Now it's kind of a commonplace thing.
Yeah, yeah. So, can you tell us about your character, Mrs. Lily, at all from Weapons?
Yes, I can tell you a little bit. So Mrs. Lily is Alex's mom in Weapons, and there's definitely two sides to Mrs. Lily throughout Weapons. I don't want to give too much away, but essentially, the gentleman who plays my husband, which is Whitmer Thomas, the comedian, he and I are going about our normal lives in this town until there is a big epicenter of scary, which happens to touch our family.
Well, I'm excited to see it. I haven't seen Weapons yet, and but I've heard everyone's really talking about it, which is exciting. And I'm a big horror movie fan, obviously. Are you a horror movie fan?
I am, yes.
So what would be like the movies that you? What were like some of the first horror movies you saw?
The first one, I saw The Exorcist at a really young age by accident. It wasn't like, bad parenting or anything. It just happened to be on like in my grandma's bedroom, which was a very creepy place to watch anything, let alone The Exorcist. And that one really affected me. That was, I think watching The Exorcist at any age is affecting. I just rewatched it recently and just was completely creeped out again. That could be trauma related to the first time. But that was my first time being truly scared and frightened that something was going to get me.
Yeah, and it still holds up, obviously. And a great I read the novel for the first time a couple of years ago, actually during the pandemic. I was listening to a lot of audiobooks, and uh, not that this is a big take or anything, but the book is fantastic too.
I've never read the book. That's cool.
Yeah, I would
I'll
recommend
have
it.
to look.
Yeah. So, have you seen the finished movie?
I have. I've seen it twice now, both times in a packed theater. So it's been a really fun group experience.
Why is it horror movies and comedy? I think are like the best movies to watch with an audience. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that it is funny that is when you see even a comedy in the theaters, you're just much more likely to laugh than if you're at home. Even if you're having the same reaction to it, even if you have a big TV and it's really overtaking your space, there's just something about sharing a laugh with someone that makes it more enjoyable and it builds on itself. Um, I would also argue that comedy, strains of comedy work in almost every genre, and that horror benefits from comedy just like romance benefits from comedy, and even sad movies, great deep dramas benefit from it as well.
Yeah, yeah. But a very dramatic movie is not the same experience in the theaters because I guess you could all sit around and cry together, but it's not the same
Yeah,
as laughing. Or,
yeah,
I guess it
I
is.
like
It's just
that.
different, but
I'd probably enjoy that, to be honest.
yeah. Well, honestly, I go see everything in the theater if I can. It's still. I know people don't go to the theaters much, but to me, there's no better way to watch a movie.
I think the biggest hurdle for most people is just price.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, there's so many other competing mediums now than when movies were like in their heyday. But I think really for a lot of people, if you don't have like an AMC pass or
That's
something,
what
the
I do.
biggest
Yeah.
hurdle. Yeah, I do too. I try to see my wife. My wife and I see as much as we can. Sometimes we're there 3 times a week.
Yeah, and it's cool. Not that I'm not getting paid by AMC, but what's cool about the AMC pass is like I'll go see some stuff to use up the third pass, and sometimes it's a movie I'm like I don't really I probably wouldn't have seen it otherwise, and sometimes that it's my favorite movie that I saw that week.
I agree. So yeah, I'm not being paid by AMC either, but I'm very much a fan of my plan, and maybe that's just the way to get everyday people back to the theater and to see things they wouldn't otherwise have seen.
Yeah. So, Zack Cregger, director of Weapons, what was he like to work with?
He was having so much fun on set that everyone else was, and you could just tell that he was not only grateful and excited, at this opportunity, but that he was confident, that Barbarian gave him this level of creative confidence, and he knew where he wanted to, direct the ship. And I think as an actor, that's really comforting. Sometimes you get on set and someone will be like, "All right, so what do you think? Like, what do you think this is about?" And it's great to collaborate, but you want to know that there's a vision being created. And Zach definitely had a vision. You could feel that.
Did you, I assume you had seen Barbarian before, doing Weapons?
Yes, I'd seen it twice in theaters, which is rare for me. Usually, I try to see different things every time. And I was a huge fan. So when my agency sent it to me, they were like, "Hey, are you gonna be able to squeeze this into your schedule? Maybe like maybe it's not even gonna work out." I was like, "It will work out. I will put it on tape and I will get it to Zack Cregger."
I have one issue with him in Barbarian. So my first feature film premiered at Fright Fest, and they did a sneak preview of Barbarian right at the end of my movie, so people were leaving during my Q&A. But I understand. I understand.
I mean, and he had told me the story on set of very much being a new filmmaker and, trying to get his first big project made, and he said that if Boulder Light hadn't come along and really believed in him, that he was ready to scrape, whatever he could find together to make it and really sacrifice whatever he needed to make it, which I think as a fellow filmmaker, it makes you proud and,
Yeah, and
wow,
also,
that's
horror movies are like popular now. So there are people I think who are making horror movies that might not really care about the genre, but I think it's clear that he's a horror movie fan, and I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
comes through in his movies.
Do you think that was a Jordan Peele do you think that was the moment when we started taking horror, like, cinematically
Especially
seriously?
R-rated horror movies, because,
Yeah,
like, it was I mean, horror movies always been around, but for theatrical, it was usually, like, they went with stuff PG-13, so, like, kids could go see it too,
mhm,
or teenagers,
right.
and, yeah, I think the, Get Out was like, "Oh, you can make, like, an adult horror movie." And it can be
Yeah, I
good
think
too, it's not just, I like a lot of campy, silly horror movies too, but this that's like this is a real horror movie, like a real movie.
what's been your favorite of this year so far?
It's hard to beat Sinners. Uh, Sinners was really great. I know some people say, "Oh, it's not a horror movie," but I'm like, "It's a vampire movie."
Yes.
Not no spoiler
Yeah,
there, sir, but,
yeah, just because it was maybe set in a historical setting doesn't mean that it's not a horror
yeah,
movie.
and Get Her Back was awesome. I don't know if you've seen this movie,
Oh,
very
Bring
dark.
Bring
Bring Her Back, I'm sorry,
Bring
yeah,
Her
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually Sinners and Bring Her Back are my absolute favorites of the year.
I agree 100%. I was like, if it wasn't for Sinners, this would be easy, like, this is my favorite
I
movie of the year.
agree. Yes, but they're both so good, and they're both so good in their own right.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah, I thought Bring Her Back was so uniquely creepy.
Yeah, and I love their previous movie, I forget the name with the hand in the poster,
I
but
haven't seen that one actually, but
oh,
now
yeah,
I
it's
it's
really
on my
good. But
yeah,
Bring Her Back's great, and that was one movie as, like, someone who's watched horror movies forever, there was some, like, moments you're like, "Oh, I don't know about this," in a movie. There's some, like, shocking stuff.
yeah.
But
Okay, cool.
but yeah, Bring Her Back, super dark, I'm totally into it. So, is
Yeah.
was the au so you sent in, like, a Zoom audition is what you're saying for Weapons?
Yeah, I have either the pleasure or the displeasure of being one of the only people in the cast who wasn't outright offered their role. Which was terrifying because I was pretty aware of that. It was myself and the actor who played my son, Carrie Christopher, who's just at the beginning of a very exciting career. But as far as I know, he and I were the only ones who truly, did the classic audition. And because the other actors just, they've had, long histories and they're all like legends already in their own mind. Half of them are in the Marvel universe. And so I think that it was just a true I did an audition and a Zoom callback with Zach. And um I was so grateful to be maybe the maybe one of the only people doing it that way, but also then you step on set and it was intimidating for sure.
So, Carrie, Christopher, you just said you think has a big future. So, what was he like, to work with?
Phenomenal. It felt like he was as seasoned as any of the other actors, and for sure, I know he's doing other projects right now. I think he's on an Amazon show that he was filming that he had to fly back for just to go to the premiere. So he's very jet setty, busy. But he on set was just so professional. When you see it, I mean, he just breaks your heart in the movie, and um, just like any seasoned actor who's been doing this for decades.
So, what was it that made you want to become an actor? Because I've seen you've been acting for a long time.
Just always what I've wanted to do. Much to the much to the anxiety of my parents, but I just was always very drawn to it. I think I did a after school play in like first grade, and I was like, oh, well, this is it. This is the thing. And so I studied it. I did it as much as I could from that point on.
Your parents weren't actors or anything like that.
No, 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 no. They were about as far away from that world as you could get. My dad was a contractor, carpenter, and he actually raised me at home most of my growing up. And my mom was really the breadwinner, and she taught at a college and a master's program, and then was also on call as like an on call nurse.
Do they see your movies now? Do they watch your movies?
Yeah, so my dad has had health
Oh,
problems
I'm sorry.
in the past several years. That's okay. So he'll be the only one who probably doesn't make it out to the theater. But my mom's actually seen it already. She was in town with me when there was a screening that we went to. It was a test screening that we ended up going to. And yeah, she had a great time. She's always been very supportive, even if she doesn't understand what
Okay.
project I'm working on, or you know how it is. It's like, well, I could hear you really well. That was really good.
You can put that on the
But
poster. You could hear my daughter very well.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, she loved weapons, and she was really excited for this project for me.
And so you mentioned your wife, and so I saw you and your wife have your own production company, Poison Pictures. If you
Yes, yes, we
want to talk about it, how it started.
yeah. It's actually we met because she cast me in her master's thesis project when she was at New York Film Academy, and I was kind of at a place in my career where I was like, "Oh, I'm not doing student films anymore." And then I read the script and I was like, "Well, this is really good. The writing's really good. I think I'm going to go do this." And the second filming was over, we were together, and we just sort of knew we wanted to make films together. It was how we met, it was how we started. So her first feature film that she did as a transition project out of school, we made the company. And after we made that one and distributed it, we were like, all right, well, got to keep the company. We got to keep going. So we're actually working on our first horror thriller,
Oh, cool.
which we're shooting this month.
Oh, that's very exciting. Can you talk about it at all? Like any like the premise or anything?
Yeah, yeah. I don't have Warner Brothers, coming to sue
Sure.
me for giving away anything on
Yeah.
this one. Um, but this is sort of a political dystopian thriller, and
So
it's
it's real
about
life.
American.
Yeah. But,
It's becoming more of a documentary every day, Neil, and it's about American refugees trying to get across the border. Some of them are journalists or maybe cops who didn't want to follow orders. There's a group of strangers trying to leave for their own reasons, and they end up at what's called a safe house on their way to get taken across the border. And the safe house turns out to not be so safe, and one of my fellow Weapons cast members is actually going to be in it, Clayton
oh,
Ferris.
cool. Well, I'll be talking to you in a
Yes,
few minutes. Yeah.
yes, he's playing a very fun character, and we wrote that one for him
Oh,
actually.
cool. So did you know him beforehand, or did you meet him on Weapons?
We knew each other a little bit beforehand. We had never really spent a ton of time, but his girlfriend is a very good friend of ours and was in our first movie. our very first that feature that we ever made, and we'd stayed in such good contact with her that when I got to the set of Weapons, like I said, it was a bunch of, Marvel characters and other really well lauded actors, and so we found each other, and it was nice to see a familiar face.
Yeah. So, what was your first movie? It was Blue, I believe is
Blue,
your first feature. And what
Blue was
for people not aware, could you tell them what that was about?
Sure. Yeah, this was about a young woman who decided to commit suicide after she loses her last living family member, and she botches it. It does not go well, and it is about the story of her trying to just decide if she's going to make another go at it. And in the midst of all this, she discovers that she's responsible for all of these hospital bills. So on top of really not wanting to be here to begin with, she's now, in debt, and it's the classic
Mhm.
American healthcare story. And it's just about her sort of discovery of life after a suicide attempt.
If you don't want to answer, it's fine. But was that inspired by any true personal stories for either of you?
Oh, yeah. We're very open about it. My wife had an attempt when she was 16. She's from Brazil, and this was while she was living there. And while it's not the story of her attempt,
Hmm.
it's definitely loosely based on some of what she went through. And she said that maybe ultimately it was cheaper than therapy. And we've been really lucky that it's resonated with people. We've gotten letters from lots of people on the festival circuit. We had a really big response of people who resonated with that message.
I'm a big festival guy myself. So, what would you say the importance of having your film play at a festival and also attending a festival?
There's a lot of networking, of course, when you get to a festival, and not just networking in terms of, oh, well, here's where I'm going to make my next movie and here's the money to make my
Yeah.
next movie, but just kind of immersing yourself in your community and finding your people. And I would also say that it's so important to hear your story for an audience. So many filmmakers don't ever get to hear a true audience, an unbiased audience,
Hmm.
watch their film just because so many things go straight to streaming. And that's so important to see how your film's landing, to see how your filmmaking really lands with people out in the world.
Yeah, and like I don't know if you've ever been in a short film or made a short film, but also it's probably the only time a short film gets seen with an audience.
Yeah, absolutely. What was there was that platform that they were trying to run that was gonna be all short films. Do you remember that?
There's like I don't remember the actual platform. I know like they have a few things like on Shutter, I think, but
Mhm.
it's something I talk about on the show because there's I see a lot of cool shorts, especially at like horror festivals, and I was like wonder where they go after that. It's like people upload them to their YouTube or something. There's a few platforms out there, but not, and I don't know the answer, but it seems like people would really it would work with people who have short, they always talk about everybody has short attention span. So I think
Yeah.
if the stream platform really had a lot of shorts, it would work.
It makes sense, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a big TikToker. I got sucked in a few years ago, and now I'm fully on the app. It's my favorite social media app now. And I'm surprised too that short form content hasn't taken off in its own way outside of that.
Hmm.
Or if it has, I haven't
Yeah.
discovered
Yeah.
it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, there's a couple that I know of just in the horror world, but not. It's like mostly like a YouTube channel that has stuff, but there's not too many streaming. Just like a couple things here and there. So,
Yeah.
would that be something you'd want to do with your new movie when you guys get it finished? Would you want to do the festival route?
I think we do. We didn't take our second feature to the festival circuit. We took it straight to streaming. And that one wasn't our original script. That was something that we were commissioned to do, but we did get a lot of creative control, so it feels like ours. But it was strange to not sort of get to share it with the community and have that premiere moment, and it went straight to streaming. It did very well, but I really missed taking it on the festival circuit. So I think the plan will be if there's not a really exciting offer right out of the gate, then we will do a full festival season.
Alright. And if you want any suggestions, I know a lot of cool genre festivals.
I would love some. Even though our production company is named Poison Pictures, this is, for some reason, still our first true horror film.
Yeah.
So, and that can be a different trajectory than other festivals.
Yeah, because I looked at some of the festivals that Blue played at, and there are ones that I wasn't familiar with because I'm like in a little different world. So I didn't even realize that I should have realized, but that there are a lot of other festivals outside, the horror movie festival world.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny to
Everyone
look
knows
into the
Sundance and stuff, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. They've all got fun names, though. The horror ones
Oh
are
yeah,
the best at branding and marketing.
yeah, and cool trophies. Not that it's about winning trophies, but they do have cool trophies.
We like our trophies too.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
like our cool, very not horror trophies. There are
So where did the name Poison Pictures come from?
so in the first film, Blue, the way that she commits suicide is, and this one is true to life, is it was rat poison,
Oh wow.
and which is a very specific brand of suicide attempt, and it's a very painful way to go if that's how you're choosing to go. And we sort of played it off of that. It has a recurring theme in that movie. And then as we went on and did other things, we made a lot of music videos. We've done commercials, worked for Coachella or the LA Times, and then we've done other movies that are not in the horror genre at all. And Poison Pictures has just not felt like it fit, but we're so endeared to it. So we're excited to be making a film that feels like it should be part of our repertoire.
Yeah, and then obviously a very personal name uh, to both of you. So yeah, and congratulations on Blue, and I'm looking forward to the next movie.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, and maybe you can come back and talk about it if you would like
Yeah,
to,
that would
or
be
both of you can.
lovely.
Yeah, yeah.
We're really excited about this next one. And it's we've got a very cool location we're shooting at here in Malibu actually.
Oh, cool. I
Yeah, the
should have
house.
turned my phone off. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries, no worries. I had some sound pop up when we
Yeah.
started. Um but it's sort of starting to have a vibe of like the Parasite house because the
Oh
location we
wow.
have is, yeah, it's so beautiful that it's starting to become kind of its own character.
I went to see that before, like at any buzz at all, because the AMC actually in Boston that I go to, it plays
Mm.
a lot of international films before like they have any buzz at all. So it was just playing. I was like, oh, I'll go see this. And I was like, oh wow, it's amazing. And then like it was months later before like it had like this buzz behind it and it had like a
That
regular
was
release.
very cool. That would have been a really cool experience.
Yeah. Well,
Were
that's
you
like,
excited
was that?
when it started to really gain traction? Were you really
Yeah, I was like,
excited to
yeah, I
see
was like, yeah, I've seen this movie. You guys should go see it. And then when it started to take off, it's like not that I know anybody in it, but it's still like cool. Like, oh, I went to same way with a festival movie. Like if I'd seen it at a festival before, it gets a release. It's like, oh, this is cool. This is a movie now people know and want to go see.
Yeah, and it proves that the right movies can make it where they're supposed to go to, that it's not just a studio marketing behind
Yeah,
things, although it often is, but to see films make it beyond that is really exciting.
yeah. Like Barbarians, like kind of the best of both. That like it was a really good marketing, honestly, for the movie. They didn't show much at all. It made you want to see it, and then plus it delivered. So
Yeah. I really like everything that Boulder Light's doing, to be honest. I think they're just really great at choosing good scripts and good filmmakers. I really enjoyed, Companion too this year.
I
I
did
thought that
not
was a good.
get to see that. I somehow missed that, and I've heard really good things about it.
I felt like the marketing was, smaller than I expected. I think Zach's actually a producer on that movie, if I'm not mistaken. But that was fresh, unique, and also very funny.
Yeah, I heard people say like they weren't a big fan of the trailer. He said like you should go see it. Like the trailer didn't really present how the movie was. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. So
That's sort of I would say that's a conundrum that I am interested in right now, is that finally studios are trying not to give away the whole
Yeah,
movie.
I prefer that because another thing I like about festivals is I usually go into the movie blind.
Yeah, but then you have the problem that a lot of people had with Companion where they either didn't see it or they weren't aware of what type of movie it was gonna be.
Mhm.
And then you sort of run into a rock and a hard place there. You want people to come see it, you don't wanna give it away.
Yeah, exactly. I remember, when it was one of the remakes of Carrie, and I was like they showed basically the whole movie in, like, 2 minutes. I was like, "Are they even gonna show, like, the blood scene?" And they did. I was like
Oh,
so why?
wow. I didn't realize that they had done the blood scene. That
Yeah, it was
feels
I think it was, like, I think there's a newer one since then. There's been, like, 3 remakes. It was a remake, like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or something.
oh, with, oh, yeah. Yes, you know what, I think I have seen that, but I never did see the trailer. That's not a great choice to play the
Yeah,
blood scene
and
right
as an
there.
AMC person, again, but, you can't avoid it's hard to avoid the trailers, and you see the same ones quite often.
I know, and you see every version of them too.
Yeah.
I have become you tell me how you feel about this, since you're also a fellow AMC member. When I go now, I would prefer almost to skip the trailers, and I
Yeah,
know you're
and
not
you
supposed to
kinda
say.
know if you go, like, a half hour after the movie starts, you're
Yeah,
fine. Yeah.
my wife would much prefer to watch all the trailers. She would stay at the movies all day if I would let her. But my thing too is that, like we said, with having a short attention span, I want my brain to be freshest when the movie
Yeah.
starts,
Yeah, because 'cause
and
you're
if you
almost,
take
like, done now. It's like, "Oh,
yeah,
it's time to leave now. Oh, no, the movie's just starting." Yeah.
I've started having coffee at the theaters so that I don't, like I because I wanna be as alert as possible because I love movies,
Mhm.
and I don't want my brain to take its, like, most valuable 30 minutes for the trailers.
Right. Yeah, I shouldn't say this, but I smuggle my coffee in my thermos here in my backpack.
I would never do that, AMC.
There's, one guy at my AMC, he, like, stalks around everyone else I don't think cares, but one guy that works there, if he sees it, he'll make me pour it out. It's very, very
Your
weird.
water bottle?
Yeah,
He'll
yeah,
make you pour out.
yeah.
You're
No.
kidding.
Just one guy. So I usually if I happen to have it on the side pocket, but I try to put it inside the backpack so no one can see it. Hopefully, he's not
'Cause I'm
watching this. Now he'll know.
Yeah, yeah, don't watch us, AMC, don't watch us talk about this, but water bottle's usually good,
Yeah.
and I buy my popcorn, I always buy my
Yeah.
popcorn, but
Yeah.
it's not like there's a ton of coffee options
Right,
at
yeah.
the theater.
Yeah.
That's what
Usually
I
there's
think keeps it
none,
a
but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wanna ask about this too, 'cause, the play Class with, Gary Marshall. So what was that how did that come about and working with such a legend?
I got really lucky, I only been in LA for, like, a year, and was trying to navigate, having my first agents and managers and how all that worked, and I think I just got lucky, got the audition the old-fashioned way, my agent found it and sent me out for it, and I love most actors, I think, grow up in theater, so I was very comfortable with that. It was a two-person play, and it was the West Coast premiere of Class, and it was such great writing. It's just so much easier to do a great performance when the writing's great, and Gary Marshall, he didn't direct it, but he cast it and produced it, so he would come in and give his 2 cents here and there, and it was one of the most fun things I've done, certainly in the theater world since I've been here.
That's cool. Do you still do theater?
Not a ton,
I
it
don't
just
think it's
doesn't
as
pop.
big out there. There's not a lot of theater out there, is there?
No, no, it's very few and far between. There's a couple of ooh, it's a fly. There's a couple of staple theaters that are the big ones, and this theater that we did it at is actually now called the Gary Marshall Theater
Oh,
since his
cool.
passing, but it's one of very few. I would assume Boston has a much bigger theater
Yeah,
presence,
yeah, there's a
actually.
lot of, yeah, the theater district is where the AMC is at, but yeah, there's a lot I'll go back to AMC here, but
I know, can we get a call in to although, I mean, don't tell 'em about the coffee, but other than
no,
that,
no.
this is a perfect sponsor video.
Yeah, they'll let us bring in coffee now. That'll be our big payoff is, so,
Right,
listen
that pass that has like a little coffee sticker
Yeah,
on it.
that would be cool. Yeah, you just pull it out, my coffee pass.
Yeah, that would be fun.
So this has been really fun to talk with you, and I'm looking forward to Weapons, and I'm looking forward to the new Poison Pictures film when that's made.
Enjoy, and I hope you get to watch it in a full theater, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you think about it.
Definitely. And where can people follow you to see what you're up to? Like online, not at your home or anything.
I'm on Instagram occasionally. I do try to keep updates on projects there. I'm the only Cali Chuter there. And then if I really love like a new candy that I'm eating, I'll post about it on
All
TikTok,
right.
and that's about it.
I'm gonna. Is there any new candy out there that people should check out?
Yes, if you have not gotten on the Swedish candy train yet, that's the one. And the Bubs small ones are my favorites, but really all Swedish candy is worth looking into.
Like the old Swedish fish, like gummy, or is this something new?
Well, yeah, no, beyond take Swedish fish and put them in the back of your mind.
All right.
This is far better, and it's kind of like gummies and sour candy and marshmallows all had a baby, and it's wonderful.
All right, I will check this out. But that does remind me, there's a new food truck by me called the Swedish Fish, but they spell it Sweetish, and it's candy. But
Oh, okay, okay, maybe they've got some good
maybe,
stuff in there.
maybe. All right, all right.
It
I'll
was lovely to talk to you, Neal. Thanks so
thank
much.
you. That's been really fun.
Let me know if we're collecting, AMC money for this.
Welcome to the station of decapitation with Thatcher Head. I'm Nasty Neal, and I'm joined by Clayton Ferris, Terry of Weapons. It's cool to have you here.
It's so great to be here.
Yeah.
I love the decapitation station.
Yes, yeah. Killer Clayton. That's a good C word. Maybe we can read. Or it's not a C word, but it's a C.
I like Killer Clayton. I should rename myself. Castration
Yeah, I
Clayton.
like
Is
that. The station of castration. Maybe that'll be our own new podcast we'll do. I don't know. But can you tell us anything about your character Terry in Weapons?
I mean, what I can tell you is it's an iconic role for me. I think that, I don't know when this is going to come out, but basically it's like Terry is there to really service the purpose of, we really like him as a character. And then we, don't get to spend that much time with him. That's all I'll say.
All right, fair enough. And so I read that like the character is written with you in mind.
Did you?
Yes, yeah.
Well, so what I read was that originally the role was written for a female.
Oh, okay.
And because there's this Weapons Reddit feed that I don't know if you've been in it yet, but it's this all the deep dive fans are kind of talking about theories and who's going to be in it and all of that. And my photo popped up one day, and it was like apparently this guy's playing Terry, and in the original script, Terry was written for a woman.
Okay.
So that's like
I
a
probably read
change.
just the total lie then.
Yeah, I mean, did you read that in the press notes or on the internet?
In the press notes, I'll be honest. So yeah.
Well, what I think he may have been saying there is, I luckily came to this role. This role got offered to me out of the blue, kind of. So I think there was maybe a miscommunication there that the role was written for me. I don't think that that's true, but I think that I'm an online comedian, and I think that they may have seen some of my other work and then kind of like offered me the role because of that.
That's cool. Had you seen Barbarian before? So, like, were you aware of Zack Cregger?
I was hugely aware. So I remember when Barbarian came out and like they did that thing of kind of burying the lead. I didn't know what it was about. I'm a big horror fan, but I kind of like the prestige horror, I guess. I like the ones that make you think. Although
Yeah.
I like a good Terrifier now and then. I like some,
Yeah, I'm the
all the
same way. I think it depends. That's why I like about horror. It really depends what mood you're in.
It depends on what mood you're in. And like when I saw Barbarian, I went in really blind.
I
And
did too. Yeah.
I had such a blast watching that movie. Truly, I was like, this is incredible. This is exactly the tone of movie that I like to watch. It has smart twist. It's just smartly funny. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but in that, it's very serious. The acting in the first scene of Barbarian at the Airbnb is impeccable. The tension's there. And then we get like the changes and the switch and the hallway scene when they first go into the basement. I mean, like that scared the shit out of me. Like I was like, this is terrifying. And I was all about it. And when it was done, I went on one of those kind of, you know, when you see a movie and you're like, what is this?
Mhm.
Where did this come from? Who are these people? And I went on this deep dive of Zack Cregger just to like understand like where he's coming from and how, you know, just how he made something so surprising and cool. And so just as a huge fan of that movie, I kind of said out loud, like I would be so thrilled to be any part of like this guy's next movie. I just, you know, put that into the ether. And a year later, I get a call that they were checking my availability for weapons, and I was like, I was floored because it was it like not to say that it was a dream come true is like not hyperbole. It was literally just like, oh my god, this is the exact movie I would want to be in, and you know, it happened.
Yeah, that the just real quick about Barbarian. That first 40 minutes, like, it's so great because you keep thinking, oh, it's too. It's he must be the bad guy. Well, that's kind of obvious. Must be her, and then it goes a completely different direction. You get all these red flags with the two different characters, and it's really like a masterful movie, especially well the whole movie, but those first 40 minutes, like you're so into it.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't like I'm not someone who tries to figure movies out necessarily. Like I'm not trying to like look for the holes or I'm not trying to look for like whatever. I'm just there to enjoy the ride and that movie's a ride. And yeah, exactly. Like it has all the elements that I love about it. Um yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I want that movie to be re-released or something now because I don't think even though it was a hit, I think it could be an even bigger
Yeah, it
hit
was
because
like a hit for the size of the movie, but I think like if it came out now, it
right,
could be really big. Yeah.
but people didn't know what it was.
Mhm.
So it's weird like the marketing of movies is such a crazy thing to witness and like kind of just like just to see how like and I think Weapons does such a good job at kind of teasing stuff. And I don't think Barbarian got the chance to do that, you know, because of like probably money or budget or whatever it was.
So was there an audition for Weapons? Like, did you have to audition for the movie or?
No. So that's kind of the surprising thing. Like as an actor on my level, like I'm auditioning for everything that I'm in usually, unless it's like a friend's movie. Like actually I'm in Callie's next movie,
Yeah, yeah.
which is gonna be like really fun. Um But no, I just that was the thing is I got the notification from my agent that they were checking my availability and that what when they check your avails for something, that's usually after your audition generally. But there was no audition. So then I was like, of course I'm available. And then the next day they were like, okay, Zack Cregger wants to meet with you. And I misunderstood and I thought that was going to be the audition. And I happened to be in Dallas at my parents' house and I like set up my audition, you know, whatever equipment that I had there, which was like a rusty lamp and like my camera. And I get online and I meet Zach and I'm so look like I'm ready to audition. And he's like, this isn't an audition. I just wanted to meet you and kind of tell you, walk you through what your character would be doing. So I think that because of what my character experiences, he just wanted to actually be like, are you cool with this?
All right,
I
I'll
hope that's
probably understand that more after and everyone after they see the movie. So
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you know, it's one of those things where and I don't like to undercut myself as a performer or actor and because I'm not a huge part of I don't have a huge role in this movie, but I have a pivotal role that you know, was it's really fun and really really cool.
you said you know you're a comedian on online comedian, and so were they aware of that? And like, do you use that in the film?
I think have you seen it yet?
No, no, I haven't seen the movie yet.
No. I mean, like, if you know Zack Cregger, you know that he comes from has a comedy background.
Mhm.
And I think with Barbarian, he was kind of testing like how much comedy can I put in something, like how much, knowing that horror fans can be very specific about kind of how much comedy should be in it, how dark it should be, that sort of thing. And I think with this movie, like even with my character, like there's there's some funny stuff that happens early on with I think we use the comedy, and like I tried to find comedy as I was doing the movie and when we were shooting it, and we did a lot of kind of like different types of takes and a little improv and that sort of stuff that was all very playful and comedic. And what ends up in the movie is kind of a little bit different because I think that the moment like there's so much comedy in the movie, and I think with my character they kind of like step back a little on that because of where it like heads and what it does, what happens in the movie.
When you
But I mean,
go on, sir.
I just personally always try to bring like kind of a comedic edge to things because I feel like even if it's a drama, like there's always sort of like a room for a little bit of comedy or fun or just like character attributes that might be kind of
Yeah, I
like
mean,
funny
there's
or something.
comedy in real life. People don't just live in total misery all the time. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not like waka waka over the top
Right, right.
stuff, but it's just like character. Like characters are funny. I have a mustache. Of course I'm going to do funny stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the secret to your comedic success is the mustache.
Exactly.
So yeah, don't let anyone ever shave it off. Things
Don't worry. I would fight them.
all right. So you said you're a horror fan. So what are some of your favorite horror movies?
I mean, honestly, Barbarian is like one of my top over the past few years. The Conjurings I'm into. I'm actually like got a chance to work with Patrick Wilson recently, which was like really exciting for me. It Follows is probably one of my faves. Um, what else? I mean, just the classics too. Like I'm a big fan of um like Poltergeist and the Elm Streets and like all those movies that I grew up on. I have this funny memory actually when I was a kid of watching Candyman when I was like 8 years old. And like kind of just like having that seared in my memory, like the voice,
Yeah, it's an
his
amazing
Candy,
voice. Yeah.
yeah. So I enjoy horror like when I can, and I especially as an actor enjoy being in horrors because it's just more fun. You get to just like your emotions are higher. You might get the chance to be covered in blood or have your head cut off or like whatever. Like that's fun stuff.
And it's the movies besides like the real big like tentpole movies that people go to see in the theater. Like not a lot of movies like on smaller budgets like do people go see in the theater, but they do horror movies.
Yeah, it's weird that horror just really stands out in that way. And I what do you think that is? Is it because people like to experience it like in a group setting, like these
I do, yeah, I
scares?
think. Well, you would think comedy would be the same way, but yeah, there's something about being in because it's something you can interact with, with the audience. You can not like
Yeah.
talk, like having a conversation with the screen, but you can laugh or you can kind of get shocked together and
Yeah, there's always that moment when there's a big jump scare where people freak out, and then there's that little laughter after where we're laughing at our reaction to what we just saw.
yeah.
Like you're like, "Oh my god!" And then it's like laughing at the person who freaked out the most or like got the most scared, and that's like such a fun shared experience.
Yeah. So, Maxine, you were in Maxine. Speaking of horror movies, so
Yeah.
what was that experience like, and what was Ty West like as a director?
I mean, Ty West was amazing as a director, and like I got to work with Elizabeth Debicki in that movie and Mia Goth. I'm not like when I do these movies, I'm just like glad to be there. I'm not trying to like get up in everyone's business and like
Yeah, yeah.
make best friends.
Uh-huh.
Although I did get like a chance to connect with Elizabeth Debicki. She kind of took me under her wing on that, like in that process, and kind of like became my like friend on set and just she was talking to me a lot about like her life and just like her experience because she had just come off Diana from The Crown, and I was such a fan of that show. So that was like a cool like interaction as an actor and as a fan of her work to be a part of. But with that movie, you just like again like X. I loved X. I love Pearl. I just love those movies. So it's just really great as a fan to be a part of cool movies. Like it's awesome to be working across the board, but to be able to do roles in things that are like culturally relevant and cool and interesting, that is so lucky to me. And like so like I'm gonna see these movies anyways.
Yeah,
So
might as well be in them. Yeah.
may as well just like pop up in them.
Yeah, yeah. But
And I think it's funny when I do these kind of bit parts in these bigger movies because I do have like a big online like TikTok following and Instagram following. And it's almost like a weird troll in a way when I pop up on the screen in some of these movies. Like I feel like some of those people, because I'll always get messages like "We're like I just randomly saw you in this," and like because they're so used to me being like they're so used to me like wearing wigs and being like a crazy person online that when they see me in like a movie they like, they're like it's like a weird like I call it trolling actually.
uh-huh. Well, I actually want to know how important is that for someone out there, if, they wanna be an actor, they are an actor, having a presence on social media?
I mean, like, I don't think it's the end all be all, but I definitely will say that it helps. I mean, I think that it's not necessarily just like, oh, they're gonna give a role to someone because they have a following, but if they like your audition, they like you for the character, it's just gonna be an additional thing that helps sell it because they know, you're gonna talk about the movie when it comes out and that sort of thing. And for me, like when I do social media stuff, like I'm posting characters and comedy and like written stuff. I'm not posting like what I'm eating or whatever. So I think that it's an opportunity for actors to show what they can do and show other sides of their like abilities. And, I think the way that I ended up getting cast in this movie is Allison Jones, who's, one of the biggest casting directors around. I found out through this process that they were following my work online and knew who I was. So it was kind of like that awareness brought me to the table for this like potential role. So I don't like telling actors that it's like the most necessary, like you must do it because that's kind of like discouraging because not everyone can do it,
Mhm.
but it's really helpful if you can. And if you can find what you like about it or like what like turns you on about it, then it's gonna be helpful.
When did you start using TikTok? And, I assume you didn't did you use it, like, in the idea, like, "Oh, this will get my name out there?" Were you like, "Oh, this will just
No,
be,
not
like,
at
a
all.
fun thing to do," and then
I mean, do you remember Vine?
Yeah, yeah.
So like I was a Viner and like had like a big following on Vine many years ago. And this was always in conjunction like there was my social media stuff and the acting stuff. Like I moved to LA to like act.
Mhm.
But along the way when you realize like, oh, this doesn't happen overnight, you have to kind of like it's a long process. And my friend Alana Forsyth turned me on to Vine and was just like, there's this fun app. And I was kind of resistant at first. I was like, I'm an actor. I don't need to do
Uh-huh.
like social media. And by the way, this is way before social media was what it is now.
Mhm.
Vine was kind of like the thing that started that, it was the first one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I haven't I was
Um
on MySpace back in the day, so yeah, yeah.
in my yeah, like all those. So I just we started writing like comedy and like we're like relationship comedy. I make fun of like Los Angeles wellness people a lot. I've done like some horror content. I have this one video of just like it's just like every person in a horror movie trying to open a door, and it's like 2 minutes of me like dropping my keys, picking them up, shaking, can't get it in the hole, uh, like that sort of thing. So, I mean, I do it from a place of like fun and just like kind of like it's like the stand up comedy muscle, kind of, like it's the same muscle as stand up, but you just do it online, and then you start developing a following, and you start developing these characters, and people come back, and it's just fun, and it's a chance for me to act whenever I'm like waiting for the next big job.
And I don't have a lot of time here, but I do want to ask the new movie you're doing with Callie, who we just talked to, or I just talked to. Um,
Safe.
yeah. So do you know when that's? Can you say anything about it? Like your character in it, or
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as, like, under wraps. So did she tell you anything about
yeah,
the
she talked about, and she said the same thing. Like the studio's not going to come and sue her. She talks about her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically about a group of people that are kind of escaping, like, a fascist type of government, a little bit of, like, Handmaid's
Mm.
Tale vibes, and it's these people that are they find themselves all together in this safe house for a night as they, kind of figure out how to, escape, basically, and it's just the kind of, like, I don't know if they're calling it a horror movie, but I would definitely say it's very horror adjacent. And it's kind of what happens to those characters as they escape. And the interesting thing about it is all these people that are trying to escape, they're not necessarily without their own flaws or faults. It's not just like these like innocent people that are trying to get out. It's like everyone has their reason for
Interesting.
escaping.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward
I'm
to it.
also I'm in this other movie that just came out called Roadhead. I don't know. It's a horror movie that
I
just got
Yeah.
re-released
Uh
actually.
huh.
It's a wacky B movie, hilarious like movie called Roadhead, if you know what I mean. So that's
Yeah.
a wild
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
that just came out too.
I'll have to check that out, and it would be cool to have you
Yes.
back when Callie's movie comes out, and we can talk
Yeah,
about
we gotta.
Roadhead. And
Let's
yeah,
yeah, let's talk about more movies. I love it.
all right, sounds good. Thank you for doing this. And where can people follow
Thank
you?
you.
Yeah, they can
Just
just look
follow
you
me
up.
at Clayton Ferris across the socials.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
See ya.
Yeah,
Nasty Neal. Bye.
bye.